Okay, good. All right, good morning, New York. How's everybody doing today? A little bit tired, must be from all the partying last night. All right, so just a show of hands. How many of you have tried to introduce a friend or a family member into this NFT space? All right, and how many of you had trouble trying to explain to them how to set up like a seed phrase wallet? So some of you, all right. So this problem is real. And let's just take a look at the current state of user onboarding in Web3. First, they go to an application, they go to a marketplace, or they can even go to a game, and then they realize that they need a wallet to enter into this space, right? They need to install additional software, a mobile extension wallet, or a web wallet, or even buying some hardware just to get started with their seed phrase setup. Then they have to write it down, store it somewhere. After that, connect the wallet, and then, only then, they can start using the application. And what are the effects of such an unfamiliar and complex onboarding flow, especially when you're trying to target mainstream users into your platform? Because adoption and traction, it's going to be the lifeblood of your whatever NFT project or game that you're planning to build. So first off, you're going to experience stifled conversions. When people are just not used to that flow, when they're not confident, they don't feel safe trying to progress further. And we find that there's a lot of user drop-off, right? A user might be interested in the project, but they don't know how to start. They don't know how to handle their own seed phrases. They're just going to go up and then consume other forms of content. Next point, single-factor seed phrases are a single point of failure, because once you lose it, once, let's say, the person enters it into a phishing site, there goes all their funds, there goes all their tokens, there goes all the progress that they've actually built up on your platform. And you don't want your users to experience that. You don't want to expose them to such high risk where they lose all that kind of progress. So what this means is that users coming to this space or trying to play NFT games or applications, they will need a relatively high technical skill and security hygiene just to get started. And that's the barrier of entry that we're actually tackling at Web3 Auth. So what are users familiar with? They go to an application, log on to an SSO like Google, email passwordless, on a trusted device, and they start using the application straight away. And that's the exact same flow that we emulate here at Web3 Auth in a non-custodial manner as well. So I just want to cover some keys for building traction. You want your flows to be easy, familiar for your users. You also want them to trust your platform, that they can always access their progress, they can always access their assets whenever they want to. And this decentralized ecosystem, it's your own keys, your own funds, your own tokens, right? We've seen a lot of problems with custodial solutions where they withhold withdrawals, users end up, they end up just losing all their assets, and that's not what Web3 is all about. And lastly, security as well. You want your users' assets to be highly secure, and so that essentially that they will always have the peace of mind when they're playing with your application. So just a side note here, 77% of users actually trust social logins, and you see that quite prevalent in your games, in your other platforms like Booking.com. If you play a game, even if you're on Steam or any kind of this, you're just used to logging into an SSO and you can start playing. You even store your CSGO assets that are worth millions of dollars in your Steam account. So that's what users are very used to. So what do? We want to replace one-factor seed phrases with a non-custodial MPC-enabled multi-factor-like key so that we are able to onboard the next billion users into decentralized ecosystems. Right now, we've only got 100 million users in this whole space, which is quite small compared to the whole population of the world or even the population of the internet users. So what do? You provide them with a familiar flow, which is essentially logging into an SSO. And it's also interoperable across platforms, across devices. Because we're a web app solution, your users don't need to install additional software. They also don't need to have a two-screen flow where you need to use your mobile wallet to confirm an action that you want to take on your desktop, for example. And lastly, we are non-custodial as well. So we've seen a lot of issues with custodial solutions barring access for their users into their own assets. So how we do it is a non-custodial form. It means that your company is able to operate without any legal liability for any KYC. It also removes your project's liability to safekeep your users' funds. And how do we do it? Essentially, what we do is that we take the user's keys, mainly the private-public key pair, which is quite representative of your seed phrase, and then we split them into key shares and store it amongst the user's web of trust. These are things that your users have continual and easy access to. The first key share will be stored on the device. It could be a laptop, phone, iPad, and if you have let's say your device is biometric enabled, you can actually store that key share behind the biometric enclave. And the second key share will be mapped to your Google account, for example. If you're authenticating with your Google account, that key share will be mapped to your Google account, and it's only reconstructed when the user successfully authenticates with their own credentials. Now, we also want to give users the option to create as many redundancy or recovery shares as possible, because it is possible that a user might lose their device, and you don't want to lock them out when that happens. So we give users the option to create as many recovery shares as possible. They can send a backup phrase to a backup email. They can set a PIN code. They can also set additional recovery shares on additional backup devices. So in this setup, as long as they have any two out of the n factors that they've created, they will always be able to maintain access into their account, even if, let's say, Web12 goes down. If, let's say, they have 2 key shares on 2 devices, they're actually able to reconstruct the key and access all their funds stored on it. All right, so we've been around for a while. We've been around for 3 years, and we've built with a lot of large company players in this space. And to date, we managed more than 2 million monthly active users. We integrated more than thousands of applications that are live today. So we're growing quite strong, and we find that this use case is actually helping all these projects solve this onboarding problem. So I'm just going to quickly run through some use cases that we have, just to demonstrate the power of our tech. So one of our clients, Coop, they are a web video content sharing service where they allow their users to watch and earn tokens. So naturally, they have a Web2 user base, and they want to introduce like a blockchain feature to that, and that means that their users need a blockchain wallet. So with our solution, we provided them with a one-click login flow that generated a blockchain wallet for their users. And the result was that even with this blockchain tech, they were able to onboard 50,000 new users every day. You can see that this is us on their interface. You can just log in. You can actually go to the website, coop.com, and try it out for yourself. Very interesting site. Quite interesting content that they have, but it might not be safe for work right now. But yeah, take a look. And then the next one is going to be 100 Thieves. So we did the NFT launch with them. So 100 Thieves is an American lifestyle company. They do esports as well. And they have quite a large following on Twitch as well as Discord. So their user base already are used to logging into platforms with the Twitch and Discord accounts. And what they wanted to do was do an NFT drop for all their fans and user base. So we built a solution that allowed their users to log in with Twitch and Discord. And then once they log in, all they needed to do was click a button. They minted an NFT for free. And right now, I think, even though they minted it for free, I see some people selling it on OpenSea for a small amount. So it was successful. They actually managed to give out 200,000 NFTs within the first few minutes. So we were able to scale with our user base. This is the platform. This is our interface. So you can see that they also allow their users to connect with existing wallet solutions. So we don't want to sort of bar, or we don't want to exclude crypto natives who already have their wallets prior. But what we want to do is let these applications offer another solution for people who do not have a blockchain wallet and they do not have the security hygiene or the technical skills to set it up. Next use case is chess.com. Anybody plays chess over here? Chess. All right, quite a few chess players, probably a few grandmasters here. So if you've heard of chess.com, they have a user base of 77 million players. And they wanted to allow their players to actually mint the chess games into NFTs. Naturally, this meant that they also need a blockchain wallet. So what we help them do is we let their users use their existing chess.com account and generate a blockchain wallet mapped to that account. So this means Chess.com didn't have to migrate their entire user base. They didn't need their users to sign up for another account, do another registration. They can actually use their existing Chess.com account and access blockchain features on the Chess.com site. So this was a huge plus for them, and the onboarding the adoption for new users was actually quite high. Within the first week, they got about 12,000 players using their blockchain feature. This is them. You can actually just sign in your Chess.com account and get a blockchain wallet associated with that. And the fourth case is actually Lettercaster. So they are a fully on-chain game built on Solana, and they wanted some interoperability as well, because they wanted their users to interact with other marketplaces on Solana, as well as a seamless flow on their game. We built a dual wallet system for them so they can actually switch between the wallets when they just log in with their Google account. You can try it out at play.lettercaster.com. So, yeah. We also on the Binance Extension wallet, but my time is up. We have a booth at level 9. If you have any questions or if you want to build together with us, please feel free to take our contact details down, and we have a good conference. Thank you.
Hello. Hello, my name is Drew Beller, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Spanning Labs. Oh. The future is multi-chain. Spanning Labs is working on an interoperability solution that connects users seamlessly to developer applications on any chain they want. The days of users hopping around chains so that they have to bridge tokens, make new wallets, buy new gas tokens at a centralized exchange aren't going to last long. It didn't last long for Web 2, and it won't last long for Web 3. Spanning Labs is delivering infrastructure and tooling to make more seamless interoperability experiences for users and for developers. Developers can deploy their application once on a single chain and reach users anywhere across all of Web 3. Those users get guarantees that their contract addresses won't change. They're always custodying their assets directly without third parties in the middle. And developers get guarantees that they get the network characteristics of the chain that they deploy on. If they deploy on Ethereum for the decentralization that they need, or on Avalanche for the microtransactions that they need, all users will get that exact same experience. How does this work? Spanning Labs deploys a delegate contract on each network that we support, and that acts as the API or user interface for both developers and users. Users can talk to that delegate contract on chain A and directly reach contracts on chain B. Assets stored on another chain can directly point to users without having a third-party custody agent in between. Let's walk through an ERC20 example currently deployed on our testnet. Here we have a, all right, I'll walk through it in voice. If you'd like to see the video, you can follow us on Discord and our Twitter, or visit us at our booth later. But let's imagine there's a Rinkeby user or an Ethereum user who owns a token and wants to transfer it directly to a Mumbai user. With the Spanning network, they can initiate that token transfer as if it were a native token transfer. Simply select the amount that they're sending and the user that they're sending it to, and click transfer and confirm in MetaMask with no extra steps. That request is piped directly to the ERC20 contract that the developer deployed. The developer only had to deploy a single ERC20 contract on whatever chain they like. In the demo application you'll see later, it's deployed on Avalanche Fuji. And with one contract deployed on Avalanche Fuji, a user can access it from Ethereum and directly send those tokens to another user on Polygon without any extra steps. This ease of developer integration is very important to Spanning Labs. We focus on making applications multi-chain in less than 5 lines of code and in one single contract deployment. In fact, for most use cases, it's as simple as a single word change. We've built out common multi-chain base classes for ERC20s, ERC721s, 1155s, access control, ownable, and other standard base classes, as well as their extensions, including mintable, burnable, pausable, upgradable, etc. We're working with a number of projects today to build things like multi-chain DAOs, cheaper gaming, multi-chain airdrops, multi-chain royalty functionality, multi-chain marketplaces, multi-chain payments, metaverses, and more. And we're really excited to get more partners on board and onboard our testnet to continue to see what people will build. Our testnet is currently live across 5 EVM chains, including Ethereum, or the testnet versions of Ethereum, Arbitrum, Binance, Avalanche, Polygon, and Polygon. We'll be steadily releasing more documentation over the coming weeks, but we would love to see what you're going to build and have you join our community on Discord or follow us on Twitter. We also have a booth just down the hall, right on floor 7, so if you'd like to learn more or get early access to some of our code and see the demo video as well, or use the demo application directly, please stop by. Thank you very much.